So today we'll be covering, the very most important thing of any ETL tool, the transformation steps. Okay, guys. So let's get started. So let's talk about the transform folder. So in the transform folder, the concept here is, this folder is used primarily for changing the data from one form to another form, and that's basically called as transformation, right? So data transformation. And all these steps inside this folder are meant for it. Okay, so let's talk about the steps here, the important ones. At checksums I'll talk about later one. So my data, so now I'll use a dummy sample data, that is basically the yesterday we use, like first name, last name, country, gender, age, income. So my data looks like this. So instead of an Excel file, I'm just using this. So you know very well how to pull the data from Excel file, any of the data sources. So this is my data set, and let's get move forward from here. So we have one thing called add constant. It means I have right now 6 fields, that basically 6 columns, and I want to add a constant column to the stream. So now moving forward, so here are a couple of terminologies. So this contains 6 fields. I'm adding another field, and if you see here, it's like it becomes a stream, right? So we call this as a stream. So let's say I want to add city. So I want to add a new column called city, and this is a string, and let's say value is Bangalore. Okay. So now if I run this, I'll go here, I'll put the fields. So now if you see here, initially it was 6. I added a new field, city, and this field is nothing but a constant value. So I have added a new column called city, and for all the records which are coming from the back, we'll get a new column, and for that new column, the value will be Bangalore for all the records. Okay, so this is mean. So the meaning of add constant is we are adding a constant to all the records. So Bangalore, Bangalore, Bangalore everywhere. Okay, right? So this is the meaning of add constant. So you can use it based on your scenario, based on a filter condition, like, data is coming from the back. A use case, I'm just talking about a use case. Data is coming from the back. You put your certain conditions. Let's say you're working for a company, a finance company, and they are into equities. So they have a couple of agents, and for different countries or region geographies, for different agents, they are giving different commissions. Okay. So based on filter conditions, you can go, and after the filter conditions, you can say if the data, if this belongs to a country called Germany, the commission is this much. So put a constant there. So adding the commission is a constant. So got the use case, where to use. Okay. The next one is if I want to add a sequence. So now my 6 records are coming from the back. I want to add a number to it, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So sequence here is similar to the sequence what you have in Oracle. Okay. So this is a step which will allow you to add a sequence. So again here, the add a sequence, you can go and modify it. You can write the sequence name. Okay. The value, you can go and modify it. This is basically, it will become the field moving forward. Okay. So I want my column which will contain the numeric values 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I want to name as counter. Okay. So here the next part here is, this part is basically belongs, if you are connected to Oracle, just again click on a new. So it will open up a database connection window, connect to Oracle. Once you have a database connection done, you can just select the database. define the schema, and whatever sequence name is present, you can go and use it. Okay. So if you are using this, it will automatically pull the data from the sequence. Else you can ask Pentaho to generate the sequence for you. Okay. Now here you can go, if you're not using Oracle, and if you want Pentaho to generate a sequence for you, you can go and define from where to start, what is the interval increment, and till what maximum value it can go, what is the last value. Okay. So you can do this. So by this way, you can go and add a sequence. So now a couple of important things in Pentaho. You can do a right click, select a step, you can do a right click and set preview. So these are some of the shortcuts when you're working with the development part. You can go and use them to quickly see your data. So just select which data you want to see. I want to see this step data and say launch. So you can directly see here. So this is the one which we generate the counter 1 2 3 4. So the idea here is, one more idea is, okay, so this is auto increment. So you can do, and you can go and define, like if you want to increment by 2, so 1 3 5 7 will come. The only thing that you have to remember here is, based on the use case, you have to select whether you want Pentaho to do the auto increment or whether you want to use sequence. The two use cases, every time you run the ETL, if you use Pentaho, the start value will always be 1. Okay. But if you don't want, if you want that you always want to continue from the last series, then use database sequence. You got my point? Because Pentaho won't remember what happened last. Okay. But sequence maintains all those things. Right? So if you're not working with Oracle, but then in that case, what you can do is you can use Pentaho, but you have to do a little bit tweaking. So maybe as you get mature with Pentaho, you can do it, just what simple thing, what you have to do is just go and write a simple SQL statement, get a maximum of the count and pass the maximum count here. That's it. So this is the sequence. Now we have one more thing called as add value fields changing sequence. Okay. Now let's see what this step do. So in the earlier step, we talked about the sequence. Okay. So whatever things will come, it will go and increment the value. Now in this, we are saying I have these particular fields. Now based on the fields, so now what I want is for the country India, sorry, for the country, so my use case now is for the country, for a particular country, I want to do the sequence. As soon as the country gets changed, I want to reset my counter. So my use case here is I want to provide the running sequence to a specific country. Anytime there's a change in the country name, I want to reset my country. Okay. So I want to provide individual running sequence for all the countries, right? Got the use case? So that means my final output would be 1, 2, then 1 and 1 in my counter. I'll show you how. So what I will do is I'll go here, double click and say country. So based on the country, I want to provide the sequence. Now when I click on OK, it says this step needs data to be sorted. Now so anyway, our data is sorted on the country already, so we don't have to worry about it. And so the result is the 1. I'll just change it to so country counter. So you can see here, right? So the first record, the first person belongs to India, second also belongs to India, third person belongs to US, fourth person belongs to UK. So we have 1 to 1 1. So as soon as the country gets changed, the counter got reset to the initial value. Got it? If you're sitting in that kind of use case, you have to go and use this. Now I'll ignore the add XML. The next one is calculator. So calculator, you guys know very well, what the use of calculator. If you want to go and do the sum, any mathematical operation you want to do, you can go and use calculator. So in this Pentaho, the calculator is little bit unique. So apart from doing the mathematical functions, okay, you can also perform a number of other operations like date functions you can perform. You can also do the string operations you can perform. So there's a list of around 70 to 80 predefined functions available. You can go and use it. Okay. So you can just I'll just give you a quick idea. A plus B, like you can go and define the field number A, then you can define the field number B, and the value of the A plus B will get assigned to the new field, and then you can go and define the value type for the resultant field. Okay, so similarly, like A plus B, A minus B, A into B, you can go and use it accordingly. And you can also do something like this. If you provide a year, if you provide a date, it will identify the year for you, uh, week of the year, so it can do all those things. Okay, and some of the string related functions, like remove the credit return, removing a tab from a string, you want to return only the digits, or you want to remove all the digits. If you want to do all those kind of operations, these are predefined here. Okay, you can directly go and use it. So there are n number of functions available. You can just see once you start working on it. So let's take a simple example. A plus B. Now let me identify two numeric fields. Okay, let's do the summation of age plus income. Okay, so my A is age, B is, let's say, income. A plus B. Now I want to assign this to, let's say, my new column would be addition, and the resultant data type for this is a number. Okay, so you can see 235, 555. So we got the new one. So this is how the calculator works in Pentaho. And so there's one more thing, like if you really see, there's a limitation on one thing, like you can maximum provide A plus B plus C, right? Now if you want to do something like A plus B plus C plus D plus E, like if you want to join, let's say, 5 columns, how you will do it? So in order to do that, what you can do is select this, and let me add some other fields also. So I have two more fields extra. I'll go here and I'll say test. Now let's say I want to join age plus income plus test 2. Now I cannot go and define, because the maximum I can do is A plus B plus C, because they have a limitation of 3. Now in order to do that, what I will do is I will create a new field called, let's say, calculation. And so whatever the resultant, what I will get here, I'll click as A plus B, and I will go and select addition. and then I will go and do test 2. Okay, their type is number. Okay, thanks. Now, so you guys got the requirement here. So what we are talking about here is, in my calculator I want to do something like this operation: a plus b plus c plus d. Now this is not possible, so what we are doing is we are doing a sum of ABC. We are creating our intermediate value, and then I am doing like this. Okay, so this is pretty much, you can go, so you can do something like this. Okay, and this will work properly fine. And so now here you see one option called remove. Here remove says no, and no means I want to pass both these newly created fields and I want to pass it to the next step, and I'll show you like this. Okay, so if you see here, I'll still get fields and both of them will go here, calculation and addition. Now if you know very well that this is the intermediate step, and there's no point of passing it to the next one, because unless it will occupy the memory in the system. So you can say remove yes. Once you do it, and here addition won't become. Okay, so that's the meaning of remove. So this is how you can do all those things. Okay, so this is about how to use the calculator. Now the next one is concate fields. It's similar, like, no, so maybe I'll do the similar thing. So till now, if we have seen here, right, we have done a mathematical operation here. So I can do the similar thing with, suppose if I pass a string value, let's say country, and if I pass something called as first name, last name, so I can also do string operations also with this. Okay, using this filter, let's say addition, I'll do this, and it will also help me to concatenate the values. Okay, so you can see it here, right? So whether it's a number, whether it's an integer, whether it's a string, calculator works for all. Good so far?
Yeah.
Good. Now again, so whatever we have done just now in the last step, this one, so here the meaning of concat fields is the same. You are going to join multiple string together, and you can create a target field name, let's say concat. Now you can also add them by a separator. So let's say get fields, and I want to join first name, last name, country. Okay, and this value will get stored, so the resultant, so each and every, the first name, last name and country will be joined with a separator called semicolon, and it's the whole value will get assigned to concat. So you'll see it here. Let me see why the space is coming. Okay, uh, so you can see it here, concat. So you can do all those things here. Okay, so this is the use of concat. So but yeah, this works on the string values. So the next one is number range. So in number range, the use of number range is basically like, aging, creating the aging buckets. How many of you know about aging? You are creating the number range. Let's say I create, let's say a simple thing, okay? Uh, Driving license, okay? In India, you cannot get a driving license if you are below 18 years, okay? So it's like basically you are segregating your categorization. Basically, you are doing a categorization, okay? So you can categorize like, age less than between 1 to 18 is minor, 18 age, let's say up to 50 years, the person is young, and after 50 the person becomes old. It's a simple thing. So let's say old people, okay? So now if I want to do a categorization like this based on the age, let's see how to do it, okay? And I want to add a tag to the, so whatever the age comes of the person, I want to add a tag whether he is minor, minor, young or old, okay? So how to do it in Pentaho if I have that kind of use case? So what I will do is I have a column in which the values are coming like age. In the age, values are coming. So I want to put a tag. So let's say 1 till 18th, 18, and let's say minor. Here 18 to 50, young. So 50, after whatever comes after 50 would be old. Okay. And I want to store this value. I want to assign it to one called category, a new column. So let's go to this one. So age we have 2023, minor we have, major we have, let's say, let me make this as 60. Okay. So if you see here now, we have put a new category, and based on what we have just done, so the guy who is below 18 years will become minor. We'll see a category, young 23, and anything which is greater than 50 will become old. So this is basically, you create the buckets, and this is basically prominently known in the BI world as aging buckets, So a work item is sitting for X amount of duration in a particular cycle of its age. Okay, got it? Now the next thing is replace end string. So the name says you are getting a string value and you want to replace something with some other stuff. Okay, so let's say my field, let's say the country. In the country, if I see a pattern called IND, I want to replace IND with PAK. Okay. Now, do you want to check the case sensitivity? Let's say no. Okay. Now, there is an option all. So now whatever the operation what I'm going to do will get updated directly to the field called country. So let's do it. Okay. So country IND got replaced with PAK. Got it? So what we are doing is we are searching a particular string word, a string characters, and then we are replacing it. Okay. So if you have that kind of use case, you have to go and use this. That's all for today's session. I hope you enjoyed the session.